Welcome to day 5 of week 10, first graders. Your I can statement for today is I can solve a word problem by creating a repeating pattern using 4 shapes. The materials that you'll need for today's lesson, you need something to write with, a pencil or crayons, and paper. Optional, you can ask an adult to print out the performance task for you, or you can just use your blank paper to show your work. Here is your performance task. Angela's pattern. Angela made a repeating pattern with 4 different shapes. The first and third shapes are the same. What could Angela's pattern look like? Explain your thinking using pictures, words, and symbols. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my shapes. I might choose a circle, a triangle, a square, and a rectangle. So I have 4 different shapes. Now, when I get ready to build my shapes, I'm going to actually make sure that I have the first shape, which is this one, and the third shape in the pattern have to be the same. So maybe I'll do a circle in both of those spots. Then I can put the other shapes wherever I'd like. Now remember, this is going to be a repeating pattern, so whatever pattern I choose to make, it needs to repeat. You're going to go ahead and work out your problem, press pause, and then press play when you're ready to check. So here's your performance task. Angela's pattern. Let's reread it together. Angela made a repeating pattern with 4 different shapes. I have my 4 shapes at the top to choose from. The first and third shapes are the same. So with this first pattern example, I just made sure my first shape and my third shape were the same. What could Angela's pattern look like? Explain your thinking using pictures, words, and symbols. So I have this first example where I made sure my first and third shapes were the same. And then I use the other shapes to fill in. So I have square, rectangle, square, circle, triangle. And then since this is a repeating pattern, this is my core. So this is the part that's going to repeat. Let's look. Square, rectangle, square, circle, triangle. What should be the next shape? Right, square, and it should go like this. Square, rectangle, square, circle, triangle, because that is the core of the pattern. So we were right. That's one option, but you didn't have to do it like that. Here's another option that I came up with. I made sure that my first and third shapes were the same. Then I chose where to put my other shapes. Now this time I have circle, triangle, rectangle, square. And that's going to be my core, which means that repeats. So what do you think is going to go right here? You're right. Circle, triangle, rectangle, square. Let's see if we're right. Yes, the core repeats. So finally, the last is circle, triangle, rectangle, square. Excellent job. Now for my last pattern, I want to show you the whole pattern, but I want to see if you could figure out what my core was this time. Now I still had to follow the same rule for this pattern. Remember, it's a repeating pattern, so I need to have a core, and I needed the first and third shape to be the same. So here's my pattern that I came up with. I want you to look and then use your finger and trace, where do you think the core is? So let's see. Rectangle, triangle, rectangle, that's my first 3. Square, circle. Oh, I think I found my core, because here it is again. Rectangle, triangle, rectangle, square, circle. And then it repeats. rectangle, triangle, rectangle, square, circle. Good job. Now, remember, your pattern didn't have to match my pattern. This was just an example of some possibilities of what your pattern could look like. Share your work. I can't wait to see what your work looks like. You can either scan this QR code or click on the lesson link to go to Flipgrid. Then click on the green plus sign at the bottom of the page to share your work. Ask an adult for permission. You can either do this through a phone, or if you want to use your laptop, you can hold your pattern up and explain to me if you made a repeating pattern and tell me how you know that you followed the rules that you were given for Angela's pattern. I can't wait to see what you came up with. Let's review. I can solve a word problem by creating a repeating pattern using 4 shapes. A huge thank you goes out to the Region 1 Math site. Great work this week. It's time to celebrate. You've worked really hard for 10 weeks with RPS at home. And I have a fun pattern song through Go Noodle, and it's by Blazer Fresh. Enjoy this song, go to the lesson page, and then click on the link. See you soon.